This is a $12,000 gravel bike. Every piece of bling tech that you can imagine is included, and it would be a dream bike for loads of you. But how much better actually is it? I'm going to show you the difference between this and a jazzy £6,800 Cannondale, a mid-price Wilier, and a bargain Boardman. Today's video is sponsored by Wilier from up there somewhere, but more on that in a bit. This thing looks amazing. Alloy frame, hydraulic disc brakes, a full Shimano gravel group set, and a tubeless ready wheel and tyre setup. This is a huge amount of bike for $850. Now the weight is quite hefty, it's like 11.7 kilos, and that wheel set isn't the lightest. So I wonder if it's gonna show up on the test run. Let's see what it's like to ride. Onto the Boardman now, and instantly you can feel quite a long wheelbase. Like that wheel feels very far out in front of me, and it's quite snappy actually. Let's drop into this gravel. It's just composed. Like it feels relatively sedate, but that's a good thing. Like, who's gonna be buying this bike? Whoa, it's a bit jittery over there, but aluminium frame and all that. I quite like the slightly heavier wheels. We're not carrying as much speed through those little rollers as I'd like. But who's going to be buying this bike? Relative beginner cyclists, maybe people that want a bike that can do winter commuting and Audaxes and gravel and all things. The shifting on this baseline GRX is really quite good. It's snappy, pretty accurate. It's exactly what you want. Brakes. I don't think these brakes have been ridden in, to be honest. They just don't feel fantastic, but squirrely tyres isn't the best fun. I would really maximize the tyre clearance in this bike if you can. All right, through these climbs, there's no pretty way to say this, but I'm feeling the weight, and it's also not harsh, but seems to just want to bounce a little bit when going over rocks. That could be the slower speed that we're carrying, just jarring me a bit more. But I mean, in terms of like those buzzy ride vibrations, not really getting much of that. When you're going downhill, it feels incredibly assured. Oh, so good. It does get a little bit knocked off course, but you really cannot fault it for the money. All right, we're going up this climb now. There's the rear end, just losing a little bit through being, I think, a tad harsh, just a bit heavy, but a lot of the weight is locked up in these wheels. So you could absolutely upgrade this. The frame set is really good. Cheap bikes are good. That's pretty much it. Like, obviously you can feel a bit of the weight, you know, compared to the normal bikes that I ride day in, day out, but the position is relaxed. The handling is confident. What's that going to do for the people that buy this bike? It's going to inspire them to push their skills a bit further. It's something that I did when I was starting out. It's something that we all do. I think it's a fantastic package. Yes, I might like to exploit a bit more of the bike's tyre clearance, and I was feeling like the rear end was flicking a bit around on the rocks, but this thing is genuinely fantastic, and it's so versatile as well. It would do your road commuting if you wanted it to. It will just be a pub bike if that's what you've got in mind. This Wilier Rave costs $4,600. For that, you're stepping up to a carbon frame with aero tube shapes borrowed from their road race bikes. You've still got mechanical gears here, though we have switched up to a 1x setup. What I will say is that you can get electronic gears at this price, so if you want that, go shop around.
We've also got wider Miele wheels and Schwalbe G1 all-round tyres, which I really do like, and these are in a 40mm size. That might make it feel quite fast on the road, but it might just be a touch harsh on the gravel, and I might lose a bit of cornering grip compared to some more modern setups. This whole package is only 9.3 kilos, despite the wheels actually coming in around 1700 grams. But I want to know if this carbon frame makes it comfier over rough trails and, most importantly, faster too.
Oh yes! Instantly! Carbon frames, bit lighter. It's still relatively harsh. Yet to find the kind of cruisy comfort of those carbon wheels that come on the top end bikes. But you are stepping up to the better GRX, and noticeably better. Just back to back. I think at this price you'd easily find a SRAM rival access, I would say. You'd find that bike, no problem. Which means that, you know, if you're into your electronic shifting, you'd also, oh, dear God, you'd also a lot more easily find a power meter, which all of the bikes today are lacking. Thank you, Shimano. Yet to feel completely confident with these tyres. The front end on this kicks. All right, rutty bit. Yep, over that big rock. See how it tracks through the little rut here? That's all right. Over these rollers, it's a real noticeable difference in how much speed this thing will carry over the rollers, but I don't think there's a huge improvement in the, let's say, tracking stability. I am finding a lot more impact actually coming through my hands. Maybe these Miele wheels aren't as good as the ones on the Boardman, though I highly doubt it. Maybe it's the tyres. It's really hard to tell. There are a lot of bikes that sit in below this in terms of pricing. Canyon's Grizzle springs to mind. You can get that for about $2,000 with a really similar kind of build, kind of alloy wheels, relatively similar group set. Hey, I really love the way that this bike is picking up speed. Now the Boardman was good as soon as you got onto anything that was slightly downhill, but this seems to be picking up the speed and holding on to it on the flats a little bit more. It's not a huge difference, but it's a little bit different, and it's a nice difference. And I said that the Boardman was a very stable, confidence-inspiring ride. You can tell that this is a race bike. It's a lot more jittery. Onto a bit of a climb now. You can just tell a bit less weight. This feels a little bit more sprightly. Again, not night and day, but it is a little bit of a difference. I really like the ride position on this as well. It's really aggressive. It's very Italian. I don't think that's going to suit a lot of gravel riders in this country, but what won't do the Americans so nicely is the tyre clearance. 40 mils on here, and it's not a huge amount of space to go wider, especially not in the rear end. Definitely not going to be squeezing mountain bike tyres into this thing. But then, I think that's quite an Italian approach to gravel.
To capture these wonderful shots, we've been using Hoverair's X1 Pro Max. What makes this different is how easy it is to use, with all of the rotors hidden in this tough cage. Now, the compact size means that I can take it out to film by myself, which is good because I'm Billy No Mates, and the beacon on my bars helps to ensure that I'm getting the shot that I need first time. Up here, you've got a clear display, making it easy for me to see when it's on my bar in bright sunshine. I can shoot orbit, bird's eye, zoom out, and sidetrack as presets, and for cycling, the follow mode is super useful. No more making Kyle and Felix chase me around a forest. And starting this thing up is super simple. Take it out, unfold the wings, turn on, let it find me, hit record, and off we go. That whole process is honestly about 25 seconds. This thing can track me at up to 60 kilometers per hour, which means sprints and fast descents are no problem at all. And with the system's active collision detection, I'm not too worried about it hitting a tree. Plus, let's be honest, shooting 4K at 120 FPS means I can shoot my slow-mo skids in splendid quality. Do you want Netflix quality shots? The Max model will even shoot in glorious 8K. Time for us to upgrade the rest of our cameras.
Okay, where's that mic? Ugh, coming out of the sun again. This is a weird one because you can feel the carbon frame, you can feel the lightness over the Boardman really coming through, and you can feel that it's got that Italian heritage in that it's lighter, it's a very racy build, and it wants to go fast until it gets quite rough down there. And that's when the compromise comes in, because I don't feel like the tire clearance is enough on this bike for how racy the frame is. Now, that might not be an issue if you're just doing pure gravel racing, which maybe this is built for. But if you are a general rider that's doing more of the stuff that I've been doing today, this might get quite tiring just because of how aggressive it is. I like it. I like it because it climbs nicely. I like it because it is a frame set package that you could really build upon. But there is a compromise to this bike, and I think I'll save it until the end of the video. Now we move into some serious money. This Cannondale is nearly 7 grand's worth of race bike, and it's gorgeous. But this is where we really start getting into some diminishing returns. So the price goes like this, while the benefits sort of do this. So we step up to carbon wheels with these lovely Reserve 40/44 GR hoops, and the tyres are the top of the range Vittoria Terreno T50 model. It's a super nice package for racing. Now the group set is from Shimano in the form of GRX Di2 825. Again, that's top end stuff from Shimano, and you get the CL 800 rotors, which are brilliant. That should give me more control under braking, allowing me to corner faster. And Cannondale has apparently even worked extra comfort into the carbon layup and made this seat post kind of quite jazzy just here. That's going to provide me with extra rear end flex, so more comfort there. So faster and more comfortable. Let's see if it works. Okay, away. Oh, instantly. Carbon wheels in the frame and everything, just one. It's feeling a lot smoother, especially across this chattery stuff. But also it just feels a bit more sprightly, like it's up to speed, and you can kind of tell that this is a race bike with a race package as well. Di2, fantastic. I didn't feel like the tires were gonna fail to hook up on that little corner, but putting the power down through this bike feels so solid. The rear end with that seat post design or the carbon layup or maybe just nice wide tires does feel fantastically smooth. You can kind of tell it's got a racing geometry because every time that you get a little bit sideways or a bit thrown off on a line, it doesn't really give you much help. Oh, this is lovely. If you're ever in need of a nice little gravel ride, the Fossway is fantastic. I'm going to give it a little bit of a brake test. We haven't really got anything to brake for on this trail. Let's see. Right hand is front. I must remember I ride the other way round. Okay. Oh, bloody Nora. Those CL rotors really bite. They really bite. Fantastic. As a grindy bike. A grindy bike? What sort of English is that? But a bike that you can sit down in the saddle and as I'm doing, and really grind out a climb. It feels good. It feels like I'm not bouncing from brick to brick, but again, tires. Cannondale have opened the front end of this thing up to something like 2.1 inch tires, something that Lachlan Mawson did at Unbound, I think, last year. And yeah, that's a good trend for normal riders like me. The Supercross 2 has just picked up speed so nicely. Those reserve wheels are gorgeous. Part of me is struggling to find much to say about this. It's very composed. Even over that broken stuff, it never feels like it's really gonna chuck you off track. I just went straight through that little tiny stone garden. We won't call it a rock garden, don't want to offend the mountain bikers. Wow. Okay, that is fun. Is it 1.5 times roughly more fun than the Wilier? No, but I think you can notice the difference that the carbon wheels bring, and there was certainly a bit more comfort in the rear end of this bike. I'm not sure whether that's because the tyres on here are a bit nicer. Could you buy these things on the Wilier? Yes, you could upgrade. But I do like this bike. It was very composed. Onto the Enve. Is this the ultimate gravel race bike? It's a custom Enve Mog, and it costs somewhere north of $12,000. Which is mad, but there is so much customization going on here that we don't have a specific price for this bike. But for that, you've pretty much got everything that you could ever ask for from a gravel race bike. And this one is optimized for racing. Pretty much everything is made from carbon fiber, and the weight is super low at just 8.6 kilos. But the thing that makes this special is the customization. There is just bling everywhere. I've also spec'd a super racy setup. So these tires, well, the casings are quite thin, and that should give me a super supple ride, which means a bit of extra speed on the flats, but also a bit of extra grip in the corners. So I should be faster absolutely everywhere. I think there's only one thing left to do. See how it goes. This is the Enve, and this is instantly just so smooth. Oh, and a little Chris King buzz. All right, let's hit this. Oh, man alive. You don't feel it. This is cheating. This isn't even graveling. And you can just like flick. Whoop. Up we go, round we go. So simple. Right, so the bike is lighter, the bike is probably stiffer and aero, and I've got this built in a proper racing setup, and it is so fast. So these are racy tires, and I said about the very supple casing, and you can feel it. They're also on some super wide rims. What I am feeling though is a slight tendency on that corner just to have a little step out. This just rolls so nicely. And then because it's composed at the rear end, I'm able to just like mash it up these little rises. That is so good. And the ergonomics of GRX Di2 also fantastic. Like, you've got a really good hold of the hoods here. Really throw it into some of the rougher stuff. Can't really go full send because I don't know if there's any pedestrians. So, corner in there, I didn't really feel like it was going to step out. I think it was just me being nervous on the corner that first time. Oh God, lightweight. Oh, it did step out there. Very chunky gravel there. Lightweight build. Just is flying up these climbs. Oh, it's fantastic, this is. $12,000. It's a lot. I make no bones about it. Most of us, I certainly cannot afford this bike. But what this thing shows you is that if you have the ultimate of everything, the ride is sublime. It really is fantastically smooth. I didn't really feel like I was going on gravel when I stepped down into it. Like, there was very little change from the road. And on the other bikes, especially the Boardman and the Wilier, I was really feeling that. Is that down to the bike? Is it down to the tyre size? I'd say a lot of it is down to the tyre size, but there's no denying that the super supple casing on these tyres is really working. I think the thing that we've got to really answer is, I want to say where I would spend my money. Out of these 4 bikes, where would my hard-earned cash go? It would go towards something around the Wilier, but it wouldn't be the Wilier. I think it's too compromised as an overall package. 4,800 is a lot of change to spend on a bike, and for that, I think around that price point, if you go towards a Canyon, a Giant, maybe even a Merida, if you can get them in your country, they're just a lot more bike for your money. Now, I love the way the Wilier rode, but I think I could make a better bike for that amount of money if I went for something cheaper and then upgraded, especially in the wheel set department. But I want to know where you would spend your money. Would you go super cheap with the Boardman? Would you go with the Enve? Would you actually go and buy this? I really hope that you've got the money for this. You could sling me one too while you're at it. That would be great. Thank you so much to Wilier for firstly sponsoring this video, but also for lending us a load of seriously cool cameras to use in our videos, and we hope to be using them way more in the future. And if you want to see way more cool gravel tech, well, why not check out the hottest gravel bikes in the world?